speed rules and every second counts. Where rubber meets the road and the stakes are sky high. Two voices bring you the pulse of the track, the thrill of the chase, and the roar of the engines. This is Loose Lugs with Lauren Leach and Mark Allen. Buckle up and hold tight, because the green flag drops now.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Loose Lugs Racing Podcast, sponsored by the Corp Racing and Valley Gasket. Thank you, Tim, Ben, and Carrie, for all that you do for us and everyone. It's just amazing what you do, so we appreciate it. Mark, episode 193, how are you doing, man?
Buckle up, it says, man. Yeah, hey, man, we've already got some green flags already in 2026. So, man, the wheel is turning already, man.
Oh, it sure is. I put a post out there. Racing season is upon us. We couldn't be more happy about that. I'll tell you what I'm also happy about here, buddy. I'm happy about episode 193 with Jim Tretow going to be joining us here. He got to experience some of those green flag laps and yellow laps that we experienced down at the Rolex 24 with him being the public address announcer down there. And he's always got exciting things going on. And they're going to be entering their 42nd year of the Racing Roundup Show. They do an incredible job. And he's always got exciting stuff coming up here with New Smyrna, with the ASA STARS National Tour and everything. So going to be really exciting to talk to him here later on. We'll also recap the Rolex 24 and talk about some news here, buddy. So got a good one coming up.
Are we going to the hotline, man?
You want to go out there?
Let's go to the hotline. That's the good stuff.
Let's do it. All right, Jim, thanks for joining us. We were just talking. You were down in Florida, got to experience some green flag laps with the 24 hours. How are you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. I really like all the things you guys get to do at the track and for the fans all the time. Thanks.
Hey, man, you were down in Florida, man. You didn't come back to this barbaric cold weather. Are you lucky enough to stay down there?
Well, Mark, I went down Wednesday for the Rolex 24 at Daytona. I've been on track public address there since, well, the 50th running of the Rolex 24, but since 2003, July, for the track public address for Daytona for NASCAR races. So I'm used to all sorts of weather. July in Daytona is as hot as you want to be. This past weekend, the Rolex 24 at Daytona might have been the warmest Sunday of the Rolex 24 in quite some time. We got up to 80. So 80 to 0 is quite a difference in a few days if you're back in Wisconsin.
Yeah, we were talking, man, we're going to get up into 20s here coming up this weekend, and it's a 50-degree swing from the wind chill of negative 30, 40 to just 20. So I can't imagine doing an 80 to 100 degree difference there.
It's not bad because, you know, the racing, if I get to see a racetrack and it's active in January or December, count me in. I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll get over it.
I just thought about this as you were talking about that. That means your first Daytona 500 was the 2004 Daytona 500 being public addressed on there, which is one of my all-time favorites because I'm a Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan, was a senior fan, and of course he won that race. So
hang on, I got something to brag about. Hang on. Sorry about that. I had it when you said that. I had to show you. So that was the year that President George W. Bush, the sitting president, was there, and there's a lot of security, lots going on. My first 500, and when he took off the plane, I don't buy many pictures. I just not that guy. When the plane took off after he did the command, it was over turn 1 and 2. Well, underneath it was the number 8 Budweiser car. At some point in the race, it matched up perfectly. I'm like, I'm buying that because I know who won the race. Here's my souvenirs from the first 2 Daytona races I did. This ball from the Pepsi 400 in July of 2003, and they let me keep the white flag for my first ever Daytona 500 victory lane. So there it is.
Oh my goodness!
I know, isn't that cool?
That is incredible.
Yeah. So I thought I'd show that. I just happened to come across the other day. I'm like, I'm going to put that somewhere you can see it. So now you can see it up close, but you got to be in my basement to touch it.
I am so glad I brought that up. You know, just things that happen just on a whim. Just bringing up something as simple as that. You know, just crazy. But hey, we want to go back further here and learn about your start in racing. So what are your youngest days in racing, being a fan and growing up before you get into racing a little bit?
So I grew up in the Milwaukee area. I still live in the Milwaukee area, but my home track was 3 miles away. It was the old dirt track, Hell's Corner Speedway, now a Menards store. And my dad's first cousin raced the sportsman there. And my dad's auto repair shop was the front yard of our house. So it was also the race car garage. So we could see that big old 5,000 pound tank on the open trailer in our front yard every day of the week because that was the race shop. So to see those cars and to hear them from home, I couldn't get there quick enough. And I just got ate up with it then. Four of my brothers ended up racing go-karts with Badger Kart Club in Dousman. So I got to do some announcing out there and I got to do some traveling with them. And it really kind of opened my eyes to more than just the dirt track. But as much as I'm doing now for pavement circle track stuff, I kind of started on road racing go-karts and I grew up at the dirt track.
Did you know that you always wanted to go the announcing route versus the racing route? Did you dabble in racing a little bit yourself?
It came to cash, boys. It came to cash. I didn't have the money to buy my own go-kart, but I would go to the track, help my brothers out. And wouldn't you know it, the biggest race of the year for WKA every year for at the time, the Manufacturers Cup was the Grand Nationals. And it was July of 1985. I was freshly out of high school and I'm 1 year college, whatever it was. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. So a friend of mine who was on the board of Badger Kart said, "Hey, Jim, I got something for you." I said, "What's up?" It was Henry Duga. He said, "Jim, I need you to come with me." I said, "No, I help my brother all weekend. It's a big race. It's a home race." He said, "No, you come with me. We need somebody to talk about these guys on the microphone." So that literally was my first ever time on a microphone for the biggest race of the year. He said, "You know these guys, just tell us something." So that kind of started what I got to do. And then I started calling into a Racing Roundup Show with go-kart results. And here I am 42 years later, hosting the show every Tuesday across the area.
That's crazy, but hey, man, Hales Corners, man, that was one heck of a bull ring. I love that place, man. It was so sad to see that one go away.
You know, it was a third mile. It was a quarter mile, the third mile. When the World of Outlaws came there in 1985, I could not believe seeing wheelies and the guys never lifting off the gas pedal at my home track. It was amazing. That opened my eyes even further. I could not wait to get the Midwest Racing News, Checkered Flag Racing News. Could not wait to read the Speed Sport News every week. I was ate up with it pretty hard by then while they were go-karting and my dirt track. But man, I could not wait to get to any racetrack we could possibly get to. So my growing up was, all full of racing. Couldn't get enough of it. And what are girls? I didn't have time or money to afford them either.
Hey, you mentioned 42nd year. We were telling that before you hopped on here. 42nd year with Racing Roundup. What an awesome show. You guys have done a great job the whole time. We love it. We've been fortunate to come down to one of the shows and see your production. It's just incredible. I wish we could get down more on Tuesday nights there, which I hope to make one this year again. But talk about the Racing Roundup Show, how that came about, and then how it kind of ventured into what it is today.
Thank you for asking. The Racing Roundup Show, racingroundupshow.com is the website. You can also find us on Facebook and on socials. We're on X, but we broadcast now only online. We were on radio for the first 37 years. Every Tuesday, starting at 6 p.m., we do about a 90-minute show, and it's all things motorsports, whether it be local, national, regional. We have guests on. We like to really promote a lot of local racers in the area, but on occasion we'll get that lucky chance to get Mark Martin on talking about when he came to the Joe Shear Classic this past May, and he was a guest on our show via video. So the video Zoom stuff has really taken off for us to get some national guests. Bobby Pierce was on right before he raced in Wisconsin with the World of Outlaws at I think it was the Wilmot Raceway. But in reality, 26 weeks of talking to 5 to 10 to 15 drivers a week really does get me grounded to short track racing. All forms of racing. Road America has been a great partner of ours for a long time, talking road racing. And growing up here in Milwaukee, there's so much you can talk about, Milwaukee Mile included, where the racing happens. In Wisconsin, we know we're spoiled by it. But man, getting the chance to talk to young racers, first-time guys on the show, bring their race cars, bring their families. This show started as a way to get in free with pit passes to racetracks. That was kind of the idea of the three founders, Dennis Zarneska, Terry Jeffords, and Daryl Dobbs. So when I came along as this cub reporter, I'm like, I can get in the racetracks for free if I'm a reporter, right? Yeah, okay. So it came to be where when they started the show, Daryl's background in bowling led us to doing it in front of a live audience. So we have always done this show, whether it be the front gate at Wisconsin International Raceway on the big Tuesday night in August for the Gander Auto Group 250, or whether we're hanging out with the fans right across from the mile on Tuesday nights at Paulie's. We do enjoy the fact we're in front of a live audience. Families are welcome. It's a lot of fun to see the trophies and the drivers recognize their crews and bring their race cars out. It's a bunch of fun every Tuesday, and we also archive it on our website.
You also played a big part when the Milwaukee Mile was coming back, and that was another home track of yours down there. Um, you know, that track, I'm probably biased, but when you walk into the track, it's one where you just immediately feel the history. And it's kind of a shame that NASCAR went away from it, I guess I'll say. I'm sure there's reasons behind it and all that, but the Milwaukee Mile, just a special place there. What's your experience with the Milwaukee Mile, and how do we get that place have more events here in the future?
Great question. Like you, Lauren, like you, Mark, I went there as a fan. Couldn't wait to get there to see the Indy cars race, to see USAC stock cars, see AJ Foot win a USAC stock car race. ASA started racing there in 1979, so I went to both of the races every year there. That led me into something greater, starting in 1993 with ASA, which got me on a national stage for broadcasting with that series. So I really enjoyed all aspects of it. But the fact of it was, I had the chance to leave my job in radio, working behind the scenes in promotions and marketing, to work full time at the Milwaukee Mile for the 2004 season. So we had 6 events that year, one a month basically, or 4 events, excuse me, 4 big weekends each year. For 6 years, I did that. And then things kind of went away. We didn't have enough funding, didn't have enough interest, didn't have enough people buying tickets. We didn't have enough management in the proper way to the liking of IndyCar and NASCAR. So that went away in 2009. Then I learned how much I missed it. So when Bob Sargent and Track Enterprises said, we're going to bring ARCA back, we're going to bring the ASA Midwest Tour back, we're going to bring the Governor's Cup weekend with Mid-Am, so Midwest Truck Series, and all these other different local divisions, regional divisions. I kind of gave him some hints. I'm like, hey, the Big 8 Series would be good for this, or why don't we try this series? Or, these trucks are really blowing up, so let's try to get those guys on. It really was the biggest thing. I just read something about Dick Trickle winning his first ASA race at Milwaukee in 1979. He said how big it was to win there. And it still is the biggest race to win for short track racers in Wisconsin. Still the biggest track, the most prestige, dating back to 1903. But for a short track racer to have a chance to race at the mile and then win at the mile, my goodness, it's a big deal. And it has been a big deal. So in 2019 on through 2023, I was helping Bob Sargent as much as I could, getting awareness, getting people in the stands, kind of helping out whenever I could, everything but on the microphone or on the microphone if needed, to get people fired up. And that ended with a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race that was pretty special. After 2 years running there, it moved on to Rockingham. So I helped there as well. But more importantly, Milwaukee is always going to be home to me.
I remember the days growing up, man, them ASA races, and it was standing room only, or even the Miller 200 was always a traditional, race right after Indy. You'd get the Indy 500 winner the very next week. He'd be at Milwaukee, and made it so exciting.
Oh yeah, and the peak of Champ Car, I think it was about 1995, 40,000 seats sold out. The great thing about the ASA and the USAC stock cars, the frequency they had up to 7 USAC sanctioned races a year. I got to know and see AJ Foyt race an Indy car. I got to see him race in a dirt, I think it was a Silver Crown car. I mean, and then ASA races, Rex Robbins would rent the track and bring in Darrell Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt racing in the ASA race. It was a huge deal to see those guys on their off weekends. That was the first weekends that we luckily got in Milwaukee. ASA would build their schedule somewhat around when the Cup schedule is off to bring in NASCAR stars. So that's really what I got my affinity really for Bobby Allison to now pay attention to NASCAR, because I was so ate up with local stuff. So that really kind of turned me into a fan of many things, but into the NASCAR scene, it was Bobby Allison, I think, running Slinger and running Milwaukee, Davey, seeing those guys race and perform, and seeing the USAC stock car guys, and Al Schill racing a USAC stock car race for the Bowschers at the mile. That was a big deal to see a local guy do well. And that continued to kind of endear me to all things racing now, kind of doing it for a full-time gig.
Yeah, last thing about the Milwaukee Mile, it's so great to hear about the history, and we could go on and on for days and weeks and months about all the history there. Oldest, running track in America, beats Indy by 2 years. You think about more recently, like Dawson Sutton passing Ty Majeski late, and that kind of propels him as his first big win. He won a few weeks before that, I think it was at Nashville, but that was kind of his biggest win to that point and propels him now into the Truck Series. So even the recent events that have happened there have been remarkable and propelled people on their way.
Yeah, ASA Midwest Tour, the Mars late models that have 40, 50 cars, the vintage guys that all come out, there'd be 50-some Mid-American stock cars. You're talking about recent history. Yeah, there was still a big deal. Still to see Karsten Hocevar race a super late at Milwaukee while he's racing only in Michigan and CRA stuff. That was a big deal. I knew the kid would be pretty good. Didn't know how good. But to see Majeski say I made one mistake on my tire pressure at the pit stop and Sutton had a better handling race car, and I did everything I could to keep him behind me. To see Casey Johnson holding off William Sawalich at 15 years of age, has never been on a track that big in his life. Sawalich now races full-time, the NASCAR Riley Auto Parts Series. To see Casey win that race by a whisker because his car was shutting off literally. Those are really cool moments, and they only happened a few years ago here. So hopefully that comes back. To answer your question, I didn't really answer. When can we get more racing there? The Wisconsin State Fair Park is committed to racing. They put millions of dollars into improvements there for IndyCar, more safer wall, safer racing environment, a lot of infrastructure improvements there at the mile. So the investment is there. We just need to buy a ticket and get there. And that double weekend coming up in the end of summer to support the IndyCar races that they have. And hopefully that'll lead to other things.
Yeah, it was so great to see IndyCar do well there again last year. And now going back to the 2 races this year. Should be a great event down there. Hey, kind of back into your story here. You talked about doing public address down at Daytona. I mean, you've done Phoenix, Kansas, Michigan, Homestead, Road America. What are some of the other places, NASCAR or not, or maybe some of your favorite places that you've been a public address announcer at?
So it's kind of interesting. I really enjoy the question because I hope I can give you a good answer. I enjoy going everywhere I possibly can to get a microphone in my hand. I've been in 29 different states. Holding a microphone, whether it be on public address, on the radio call, or on live television or tape delayed television. So the love is there for the next one. I really enjoy the fact that I went from the Rolex 24 and now I'm making notes for the ASA STARS National Tour opener coming up on Tuesday night, February 10th during New Smyrna Speed Weeks, which they call the World Series of Asphalt stock car racing. Starting to make notes for that already. And that leads me into the big track Wednesday through Sunday, leading into the Daytona 500. So I get short track taste and big track taste. So I really enjoy all aspects of it. I've actually worked the SCCA National Championship runoffs, which are coming back October 1 through 4 to Road America. They had been at 3 different tracks over the tenure I was there, calling most of half of the 24 races in 3 days. So that was a lot of studying. So I enjoy the challenge of studying. Arkham and Ard Series has really been kind to me and working through that broadcast. One year they had 85 full-time drivers and 85 drivers attempt a race. They had 6 full-time drivers. So that roster was ever changing. The teams might have been somewhat the same, but just the passion around it has really kind of consumed me. So favorite places to announce, I mean, back in the ASA days, I loved going to the Minnesota State Fair. I loved I-70 Speedway. I love Lakeland, Florida, where I made my my national television debut in February of '96. I think there were 5 drivers from Wisconsin, including Cindy Peterson and Scott Hansen, racing in that race, Dennis Lampman. That was a big deal to get a chance to do that and to kind of see the path and follow the path of where Kawicki was and was going. And then I get a chance to start announcing at these big tracks and NASCAR tracks. My big thrill was when I was announcing at Hales Corner Speedway, doing some special events, go-kart races all across the Midwest and some in the Florida area region in the off season. But when I got a chance to announce at the Milwaukee Mile, I thought, man, this is it. I was that kid in the stands. This is the coolest thing ever. And that was in the Champ Car days. That was in the NASCAR Truck days and Xfinity Series race there, the Busch Series then. So to announce that was a big deal. To get a chance to race and announce at Road America was a big deal for go-karts. And then I went back. I think it was the first, every year that NASCAR ran at Road America, I was part of the announce team when the Xfinity Series went back there in 2010 through the Awesome Cup years. Just to have that ability to say, this is home and this is why it's a big deal. I get to help tell that story. That really excites me. So I guess the next one's the big one. New Smyrna and Daytona on the list, but more importantly, I love calling races. I love talking to fans. I love just the idea of talking to you guys about what do you think's going on here? What do you think's going on there? When you're in the pit road talking to Ty, I'm like, hey, mind if I jump in here? Let's talk to Majeski for a minute. He told us some really cool stories at Kaukauna last time. I recall him talking about being a crew chief, right? And a go-kart for Natalie Decker. My goodness, we were right there talking to him, right? So those kind of things just happen, It's just so cool to be part of it.
That was exactly right, man. We were all standing there, and Ty doesn't sugarcoat anything,
No.
He'll tell you exactly the way it is.
And to get him for a minute to just talk about something else besides what kind of shock he wants to put on the car or where's Toby, it's really cool to have those moments as fans and as people that we can hopefully, relate that to everybody else with what we do.
Yeah, no doubt. Those are the moments that you really think about when you think back on your career and all that. I was just going to mention, you kind of ended there with your Road America talk being on the announcing team. Back in the 2010s at some point, we were kind of going through the woods and seeing different places view. And here you were on the platform helping MRN call the races there. So that was super cool to see you on radio for MRN as well.
Yeah, I got the double dip. I called 2 races in turn 6. I called 1 race in turn 8. the neat thing about that was I was still home, right? So I got a chance to call a corner and work the track public address. So thanks to John Everett and the staff for letting me double dip there. But man, that was so cool to call a race with MRN, who I'd been working with as the screen host. They were kind of my employer at these up to 24 cup races in a given year, to really get down to the nitty gritty of just being one of the guys. And it was really cool to get the toss from Alex Hayden in turn 5 up to me in turn 6. And then I drop it off to the next guy. And it was really kind of cool. So I appreciate that. I appreciate every moment I had with that, because it was somewhat fleeting in a way, but I would love to do more of that.
And the funny thing about that story too, that I recall, just thinking about that moment, it was, hey, there's Jim. You took a moment, talked to us for a little bit, and said, excuse me, I have to go to Michigan to call the ARCA race, which is the next morning. So you had to fire off that platform and get over to Michigan to call that ARCA Menard Series race.
I did. I actually wore my Road America mask. That was 2021, maybe it was, where we were in the midst of whatever we could do, 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. So I literally did go the next morning to Michigan to call the ARCA race. Yeah.
I suppose all that travel is challenging, though, isn't it?
But I kind of like it. I can't get enough of it. So if you want to put me somewhere I can get to it, I'll be there. I want to be part of it. It's just such a wonderful sport. And it's about the personality. So if people are watching this going, I don't really know the new NASCAR guys, I don't really follow any local guys since, JJ Smith stopped driving in Cucon, I don't know who to root for. Well, guess what? Go out there and meet them. Get to the autograph session early. Hang out in the pits for anybody you may know, or get involved with the team, to get involved, to care, to know these people, because they're putting every dollar they have into these race cars, and we just get to talk about it. But the stories that come out of it, and the friendships, my goodness. I mean, I'm kind of missing my friends right now. I've only been to a couple racetracks yet, and I can't wait to get to New Smyrna.
I remember I met Mark back in 2008 here, and I'm going to get off the beaten path a little bit here.
Wow.
That tends to happen. I met Mark back in 2008, and as we grow through over the years, I told him, I said, just don't be afraid to approach people. I don't know if Mark, if you remember this at all, but this goes off your point, Jim. I was like, just don't be afraid to walk up to people. And I hadn't met the drivers, and I would walk up in the hauler and be like, oh, hey, I'm Lauren and whatever. And you'd meet these people. And I guess the point I'm trying to hit home is exactly what you did. It's a family. Everyone's willing to talk to anyone. Yeah, we get angry at each other at times, or the drivers and teams do. But at the end of the day, it's a family, and everyone's so approachable, and it's something so special. It's hard to almost describe to people.
And I think it comes down to respect. I mean, if I'm a pit reporter or I'm on the public address system and I say something stupid, or they hear me making fun of something, the next time they want to talk to me will be there won't be another time. Be like, yeah, don't have time for you, man. Sorry. So I think that comes to be where there's a respect there, as much as we want to be part of it, and much put our microphone in the nose of a guy to get it on camera or whatever. I even talked to Ty Majeski when they were wrapping the Menards colors on the car at the Five Flag Speedway during the Snowball Derby weekend. They had just gotten the wrap done, and Travis Dassow was down there putting the numbers on it. And I'm standing there talking, and I see Ty walk over, and I said, hey, Ty, I am so respectful of what you do and how you do it. You got a minute? So this is me last December. This is not me going, hey, Ty, you got to talk to me. That's never been my attitude. It's never been my take. And I think that ability to kind of read the moment, but also say, would you mind telling me about this car and where it raced last? And he said, it's been 15 times since 2012 when we built the thing. It's been sitting in the corner of our shop. It's our Pensacola car. I'm like, this is awesome. So those informational tidbits, I don't really feel like I have to dig it out of them, or they have to tell me. But I think the respect is there to a degree where, if you're going to be holding a microphone someday at a racetrack, the last thing you want to do is make fun of somebody. The last thing you want to do is, be a goofball for the crowd, but lose the respect in the pits. So if that's any advice to anyone doing this or wants to do their own show or get involved with it, I'm all about being the positive promoter of sports, motorsports, every level. I enjoy talking to Mario Andretti as I much talked about the 4-year-old kid that just got his kid cart. It's just such a thrilling challenge to do that. And I've gotten a really good opportunity to do a lot of it. So just the people are cool. The parents are great. Some of them, most of them. But in the world of what I get to do, I mean, there's a lot of work that gets to be at the track where I get to call some big races, and that's a lot of money somebody else is spending, and I better get my facts right or they're not going to talk to me anymore.
I couldn't agree more there. Hey, I want to talk about the Midwest Tour. You've been working quite closely with them over the years, and and all that, and now expands into TV and production. You're doing the streams, or have been. You've worked for Speed 51, doing some of the bull ring and things like that. But the Midwest Tour coming up here has really been a great premier division up here for a long time here, and it's evolved even now into live streams and stuff that I just talked about. So what are your thoughts on the Midwest Tour upcoming here, and how you got involved with that, and how you've seen it progress throughout the years?
I was around the Artco days, so I saw how special it was to put on special events, longer races from high-profile drivers. The series actually, I think, is starting its 20th season. Believe it or not, 2007 to now is 20 seasons. They're starting in their 20th year. The exciting news is Marty Mello and MDM Promotions has purchased the ASA Midwest Tour. It was sold prior to Greg McCarn's owning it. In the meantime, Greg McCarn's still managing a lot of the races, promoting a lot of races to this day. He sold it to Bob Sargent with Track Enterprises a couple years ago. And Marty worked closely with Bob on the marketing side and the sponsorship side and the operations side. So when Marty took advantage of the opportunity to say, hey, I want to buy ASA, I want to run the Stars, I want to Midwest Tour, I want to own the CRA, I want to be working with Tim Bryant with Southern Super Series. It's a big deal to have that happen. But more importantly, Marty is about bringing funding and awareness to the series. So the ASA STARS National Tour, I get to call the Appalachian Sucker Punch ASA STARS races on Track TV. Last year, they were carried on both Track TV and Racing America, most of them. This year, we'll have some Racing America events co-sanctioned with Southern Super Series. But Track TV has really brought a lot of awareness to ASA in general. And to have the opportunity to call the STARS races, and now the Appalachian Sucker Punch ASA Midwest Tour, that's a new name for this year,
Yep.
and see how Alex Gilhart is directing it. There's a lot of interest, and there's a lot of great drivers that are racing in the Midwest Tour. And I love to see the fact that Carson Ostovar came to Kaukauna, and man, that was a lot of fun. I know I did great. The car officially didn't finish fourth after Tech, but he got so ate up with it. He's like, I do more of this. I have to do more of this. So Richie Waters out of Green Bay is going to field the car for Carson Ostovar like 6 races this year. And he has Tristan McKee. Tristan McKee is one of the hottest kids going. He just won the Trans Am TA2 championship at age 15. He's locked in with Spire Motorsports to Richie's deal, and they're going to run like 25 super late races. So we're seeing that pipeline, not just with Toyota, but they're coming back to teams that we know and watch, the Orange number 5, the Johnny Sauter's driven, and host of our ran at Kaukauna. That kind of is coming back too. So it's really kind of cool to see all that come, and we like what's going on. We're treated fairly. We want to race for big races and race for big money, and we saw it play out with 10, 15, 20 grand to win races just in the Midwest Tour. So I'm looking forward to getting to a lot of the races as much as I can with my schedule to call some Midwest Tour races that will also be on Track TV.
Hey, you just scratched the surface with some of them other drivers, man, but it is really exciting. There is a lot of great young talent coming up through.
Well, think about this. Gabe Summers was racing for championships, as is Levon Vandergeest and everybody else. Casey Johnson had some time to heal. He's back. He won the championship. Ty Majeski still comes back to play the Midwest Tour. He won 5 championships. He's won 41 races out of the 80 he's been in. So it's like, oh, Ty's back. No. Ty has raised the effort. He has made these teams really care and prepare and get going. Derek Cross coming back to the Midwest Tour as much as he can and racing full time with ASA Stars while still working on the NASCAR Cup side with 3 starts last year. To see those kind of caliber teams racing in the Midwest Tour, it's kind of cool. And then you see all these other guys show up. I mean, you've got local favorites at Lacrosse, Jacob Gady. Dells Raceway Park, you might have a guy like Ryan Farrell pop in there and go, I'm going to set quick time. And he does. Jefferson Speedway, we see Jacob Nottestad winning in a Midwest Tour race in a pro late. I mean, my goodness, or a limited late. That kind of thing happens in the Midwest Tour. So it's kind of neat to see all that variation of, you get local guys that are geared up. You get guys like Ricky Baker down at Grundy. I mean, they don't run much full time with the Midwest Tour anymore, but they are primed and ready to defend their home turf kind of thing. So that kind of still is there, like the old Artco days. Who's the best and who can beat the best? And it's kind of neat to see that play out again this year.
I couldn't have said that better myself there, Jim. Hey, I want to talk a little bit more about ASA Stars National Tour as well. You've alluded to it a few times here. The opener is February 10th, part of the World Series of Asphalt, which is just an awesome event. Many, many days of racing. Gabe Summers currently entered in that one. Sounds like Derek Kraus is looking to go down south and run that as well. The Clyde Hart Memorial, of course, is the Stars opener on February 10th there. So the Stars National Tour has a lot of exciting things ahead of it here.
Yeah, and Flow Racing has done a really nice job with taking over the airings of Speed Weeks at New Smyrna Speedway. It's the World Series of Asphalt Stock Racing. It's been the same forever, but Racing America is no longer showing every night of racing. Flow Racing is, and I also got to work with the Flow guys at the Slinger Nationals last year. I also got to work with a great dedicated staff for the Flow Racing for the last 2 years for the Five Flag Speedway Snowball Derby. And a lot of those same crew guys will be on site for the entire duration of those 7 nights of racing, whenever it is, during World Series of Asphalt Stock Car. So this ASA Stars race, I think it'll be the second or third super late race of the week. They start on Friday night there already, and go through the following Saturday. The night before the 500 is the last night of the World Series. You can see all that on Flow Racing. And the ASA Stars race, for the only time this coming year, will be on Flow Racing and on Track TV on that Tuesday night for the Clyde Hartman World 200 lapper. And there's more guys announced. Like Stephen Nasse just got announced today. I just saw Max Reeve got announced. Max Reeves is the next coming. Joe Gibbs Racing's got their eyes on him. Bobby Labonte goes with him. You saw him at Madison this year, going to the Midwest Tour race before he got tuned in to get some track time before he ran the ARCA race at Madison, which is back again in August. So it's kind of cool to see those kind of guys saying there's enough interest and care. I want to run bigger time races, and it's with the ASA Stars National Tour.
I kind of want to end here, and we'll have you on again, of course, Jim. I kind of want to end here. What is one thing that maybe people don't know about you as you've been in racing and all that? What is one thing that you think maybe people don't know about you that would surprise people?
Let's see. I've got 2 kids. They were both very active in sports. They're now in their 20s. I can do everything I possibly can with them because my weekends have been so busy that I missed a lot of the weddings and a lot of the graduations and a lot of the birthdays. So I'm trying to make up for that with maybe a little more family time now. How about this one? I never bought a new car for myself ever.
Wow.
I'm driving a 2012 right now. I just got rid of my 2006 Pontiac. I just find there's more things to do than drive around in fancy cars. My wife's got the nicer car. It's not the newest one, but I just feel that the passion I put into it, I probably didn't ask for enough money then. I probably don't make enough money now, but I love talking racing, and I guess maybe that's one weird thing, goofy thing. I've never had a new car, and hopefully every car I have gets to and from the racetrack. Sometimes I've had some breakdowns.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I've never done that either. Granted, I've only had a few cars here, but I just had that conversation with a coworker that just bought a new car. Said I've never done that. I don't know if I will or not, but that's so funny that you happened to mention that there. And then what's a couple of things that maybe fans haven't heard about yet that you know about to look forward to this season coming up here?
Well, I think, in talking about this Tristan McKee kid and how good he is and where he's going to be, you are seeing the path go through ASA. ASA Series Super Series has the Midwest kind of covered, below Wisconsin and Indiana, Michigan. A lot of their races are competing with ASA Stars, so you'll see a lot of drivers competing for both. The Southern Super Series is really strong right now, and I like the fact that a lot of those drivers are committing to both the ASA Stars National Tour, like Matt Craig, and racing in the Southern Super Series. So as much as we love to see the Snowball Derby with 50-some cars, I get a chance to see about 35 of those guys race in the Stars race and or Southern Super Series or, on occasion Midwest Tour. And it's kind of neat to see the progress of Penn Sauter. It's great to see the progress of Gabe Summers saying, hey, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. We're going back to New Smyrna, this time without Travis Sauter. We're going to, we got our guys. We're going to make this work and race around the Midwest Tour Championship. So as much as I'm grazing across the top, it's so deep to go into the idea of what it takes to get there, how many people it takes to get there. And with the ASA Stars, how important it is to be at that level, because racing against guys that ran the Snowball Derby, it almost feels like it has that feel almost every race in the ASA Stars. You better be on your game. When Derek Cross won at Newport, Tennessee, nobody had ever been there before. He kind of had his Dells set up initially. He was like, oh, wait a minute, I got to get my slinger stuff on here. He ended up racing the big track that same weekend. He drove back and forth in his Ford pickup truck or wherever he had, a Chevy. And he was in the Coke 600, but made his way back after practice Friday. He went to the big track, qualified, practice there, came back Saturday night, started 16th and won the race. The car was just dialed in. So there's that home run that can happen against the big guys, but guys like Ty Majeski, guys like Donnie Wilson Motorsports, guys that have a lot going on, Anthony Campy, Stephen Nasse, Bubba Pollard, when they play, you better come play serious. So it's kind of neat to see that high level of what is now being called the ASA series, ASA Stars, ASA Midwest Tour, Southern Super Series with ASA sanction. It's neat to see that we have a really good cohesive effort. And then the Cars Tour, man, holy cow, it's blown up. Cars Tour has 3 divisions of late models on the West Coast. They're sanctioning races all over the place. Late model stocks and the pro late model stocks, they got it going on. And I'm glad to see that sealed engine program that's been announced to kind of keep things in check has some ASA guys, has some Cars Tour guys, and has Todd Thielen, who we used to own Slinger Speedway, as part of their super late committee. Tim Bryant from Southern Super Series and Pensacola's Five Flag Speedway, he's part of it. So they're trying to keep costs in mind as well. So they see that cooperative effort. I think somewhat flagship by our friends at 5 Star Race Car Bodies, and some similar components and common components can really keep the cost down for the racers. And hopefully they're racing for more money, and we get to see a bunch of more good racing and high level racing. Because I will end with this, guys. We are spoiled rotten in Wisconsin, no matter the division, of what we get to see race on a weekly basis.
No doubt. I apologize. As you were going, I thought of two other things. I'm
Go
sure
ahead.
people are shocked here. One is I want to talk to you about Cole Butcher, a guy that you, speaking about coming through the ranks, a guy that you got to become more familiar with, and we have racing up here, and ASA Stars National Tour gets his shot now with Thor Sport Racing full time, which is huge news. He's still going to come back a little bit and run some super late stuff, but he gets his shot now and is one of Stars National Tour. So what are your thoughts about Cole Butcher being with Ty Majeski and others at Thor Sport?
Just rewind to my favorite race of last year, the Slinger Super Speedway ASA Stars National Tour race at Slinger, the 300 lapper. Ty Majeski did everything he could to keep Cole Butcher at bay, and Cole still beat him. That says something about his talent and his ability. They were literally crashing against each other every lap. It wasn't an intent filled one. It was more like, I have an edge here, I better give him the bumper here, or the nice side nudge. I'm the last guy that wants to see any bumping and running for a victory. I don't want to see that you got to hit him in the tail to win the race with a lap to go. That's not my idea of racing. But that level of competition means Butcher is there, has been there. And for when he started racing out of Canada to come down to Nashville or come down to Pensacola, I started reading about him because I was on those Racing America calls, our Speed 51 races, the larger ones. So I paid attention to Cole. So for him to do what he did last year in the ASA Stars National Tour and win the Southern Super Series Championship by a single point or whatever it was in that final super race, shows me a lot. And I was hoping after he got his first truck ride with Stuart Friesen Racing, I'm like, oh, this is something cool. But he's 29 years old, and he's got the next guy to go. And he's not the youngest guy to go, and he doesn't have all the money in the world. He's got some. But Cole Butcher racing for Thor Sport is really special because Thor Sport Racing with Jake Garcia, teammate with Ben Rhodes, teammate with Ty Majeski. Those guys are racers. And those guys in Sandusky, Ohio are a bunch of racers. Rich Lushes is going to be his crew chief. And Rich won the Snowball Derby with Eric Jones back in the day. Rich kind of oversees the whole operation now at Thor Sport on the operational side of things. He's a great short track racer at heart. And it's good to see that he's going to be paired with Cole. And I think they're going to be pretty decent in that 13 truck. They had, I think, 4 trucks in the top 10, including Luke Fenhouse on the pole last year at Michigan. So they know how to get their speedway trucks figured out. And they do a lot of their own in-house stuff. So I'm excited for Cole Butcher and what he's going to do this year, coming off his championship in the ASA Stars.
Yeah, and then I swear I'll end with this. What's in store with you? You work with so many different companies, do so many different things with different track series and all that. What's in store for you this year, in addition to the Racing Roundup Show and other things that we talked about already?
Well, I appreciate you asking. I'm going to head in a few days down to Daytona and New Smyrna to do public address for the big track and call the ASA Stars races, which Monday night qualifying will be on our coverage as well on Flow Racing and Track TV on that February 8th or 9th, whatever it is, to get you tuned up if we're still shoveling and freezing here. So it'll be fun. But I look forward to being able to talk to drivers and teams here in Wisconsin on the Racing Roundup Show every Tuesday. That website, racingroundupshow.com. And last year we started the resurgence of the Bull Ring on Racing America and Track TV. That's a weekly, about twice a month. We do a podcast where I'm sitting in the studio right now for that, where I get to talk to the national stars. I get to talk to the local stars. I get to talk to race winners from across the country in short track racing. It's a short track podcast with more of a national flavor. So mostly some ASA sprinkled in there because that's kind of where it's airing. It's on Track TV. It's called The Bull Ring. Our first episode will be on February 19th, I think it is, or 20th. It's that Thursday. So we're going to do 2 a month through November, talking to the stars, showing some highlights, talking race results, and really kind of getting the word out for those who may not be in California or Florida or New England, but we get a chance to bring those drivers together in a stage where I can talk to them for 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the broadcast side, it's going to be on Track TV mainly for me. Hope to be back at the Slinger Nationals, calling for Flow Racing for the July 14th Slinger Nationals. Hoping to have some fun that Monday night as well, doing some fun things for their qualifying night. And just looking ahead to a great season of Midwest Tour and Stars National Tour, calling some races. And maybe you'll hear or see me at Road America. Maybe you'll see or hear me at some other big tracks. Looking forward to piecing it all together still. It's that time of year where I still have to keep begging, keep making those phone calls, but I cannot get enough racing no matter what it is. I really enjoy all of it. So that's kind of where I'll be, and hopefully more.
So when does the Roundup Show start? First episode.
Mark, thanks for asking. Our first show will be on Tuesday, April 7th. We're going to have short track racers join us in the studio. We're going to have some sponsors join us in the studio. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's every Tuesday night, April 7th through September 29th. Every Tuesday will be a live show in front of a live audience. So if you can't make it, you can always watch it on tape delay. You can always watch it on demand. But we'd love to have you join us on racingroundupshow.com and catch it on YouTube when you can and support it. We also now have, you might be able to see it where you guys are. CW18 Milwaukee, which airs all the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series races. The CW network in Milwaukee, Channel 18 is the carrier here, and we have now taken our Racing Roundup show to television. So every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. our time, starting in April, for all 26 weeks through September, we'll have a half-hour show on Saturdays called The Racing Roundup Show on the CW18 channel, and you can see that on CW18Milwaukee.com live, or catch it in DVR like I do. But that's a lot of fun. It takes portions of our Tuesday show, but it also widens the audience to get short track racers and maybe not so much diehard racing fans to catch racing, see highlights, get involved, get engaged, get to know these drivers and teams that we have on Tuesdays, and hopefully put their butts in seats and get more fans of the racetrack.
That's incredible. Like I said before, everything that you're doing means a lot to us, to a lot of people, and it's truly incredible. I just want to end with this. It's nothing that a question or anything like that. You gave us a shot a couple years ago and recognized what we were doing, and I appreciate that so much. And try not to get emotional or too here, but you gave us a shot to become media members, come down to a press conference, meet a lot of really great people, and it kind of started a propel for us to really climb that hill and start that hill climb, get more notice and all that. And there's a couple of people in my life that I'll always be indebted to in this career, and you are one of them.
Wow.
And I just want
That
to
means
tell
a
you
lot,
that.
Lauren. You guys have earned it. I know Mark's commentary during those final laps of a race, that might be my only chance to see something that goes on when I'm not around, because I'm always traveling on weekends out of Wisconsin. But more importantly, the passion you guys bring to the track and what you do every Thursday, Lauren, in the infield at Kokona, I mean, you're bringing it. You know what I mean? And you guys have a chance to tell that story, to be part of that weekend story. And, it's not all about how much publicity can you give me, because sometimes that's what media passes are based on. But in working just in Rockingham, for example, last year, there were people that said, I would like to have a NASCAR media pass. And I would kind of go through what I kind of talked to you about. You kind of helped train me on the idea that you're not on broadcast television. You're not on a radio station. You are doing something that's going to promote racing at Rockingham or racing at the Milwaukee Mile, and how excited it is to be there. And the ability for you guys to say, we want to try this. And thank you for asking questions during the race weekend. Hey, Jim, can we get to this? When's the driver's meeting? Where's the driver intro is going to be? To take that in, I obviously you're paying me back right now by the kindest words you can give me, which make me blush, because you deserve that shot. And I'm really happy to say I helped, in a little way for you to say, yes, we can do this, because that's kind of special to me as well.
Yeah.
Goosebumps there, buddy. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Sorry for getting a little emotional there, but
Nope.
truly, this has taken us places, just like you said, with Racing Roundup, that we never thought we would be. And that was a huge moment, and to be there to Ty Majeski and not be afraid to ask this question. Like, there's a lot of distractions here. How do you compartmentalize that? And for him to answer, it's not really a distraction for me, and to have that opportunity and be around other media members and stuff like that. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Maybe it's not. Obviously, we were down there twice, so maybe not once in a lifetime, but just truly special to me. So I just wanted to tell you how special you are to me and to our career and to the show. So we can't wait to hear the Racing Roundup show. We can't wait to see you down at the tracks here, and can't wait to have you on again. So appreciate it, Jim. Truly.
It's been my pleasure, guys. My honor to be with you. And I keep up the great work, man. Keep the passion. Lead with the passion. Lead with the facts. Lead with the excitement we all want to bring to the racetrack to get more people involved with what we love to do. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks,
Yep.
Jim, and
Thanks,
have a good time down in Florida. Yep.
Well, Mark, it was so great to have Jim on. We've been wanting to have him on for a while. Like I told him at the end there, and I know I got a little emotional and didn't mean to, but I hope that comes through as how special a person I view Jim in my career here and trying to continue to grow. He's just a special person. He just takes time with you. Like, he'll just tell you like, hey, this person has done this, reach out to this person, or hey, if he's talking to someone, he'll be like, even if he's talking to someone high level from NASCAR, he'll be like, hey, he did this to me at Oktoberfest. I think it was 2 years ago when I helped with the broadcast, and he had flown in on a Saturday, and I'm happy to share this story. He was talking to a gentleman, the NASCAR regional manager there, Kevin, and I was standing off to the side just waiting for him to end, like I normally do, to be respectful, and he stopped and he said, hey, this is Lauren. He has a podcast, and he also announces on Thursday nights. And I got to join in their conversation, and we actually had a really great conversation right at lacrosse. These are the things that he does that are just unbelievable to me, and why he's a special person to me, and especially in this career, because you don't find that all the time. And it gives me goosebumps just talking about it, because it's I can't say it any other way than there's a few people in my life that have really meant something to me, especially in this career, and he is certainly one of them. And he's one guy that I hope when we're doing this that he looks back and says, I helped them, I'm proud of what they became, and I'm proud that I was able to help them along the way, because I feel like I owe that to him. And we'll see where this thing goes, but just so appreciative of Jim. He's just a special person.
Hey, I want to share this story with you. You know, back in the day, you and I went down to Madison. You know, it was the ARCA race. I think that was the race that Ty Majeski got to race down there, and we were down. You know, we got down and got down by the cars. You know, all of a sudden the fans could go down by the cars. You know, and get really up close and everything like that. It was before we did all of this stuff, and we ran into Jim. You know, and you were asking him some questions. You know, like, how can I get like a foothold, and how can I get a start, you know, and do something like this? And Jim was there for well over 5 minutes just talking to you, and, you know, and giving you great advice. And I just stood off to the side, you know, and then once when it was all over, we walked away, and I go, who's that guy? You know? And also you said Jim Tretow, and I go, oh, hold it. I know that name, you know, but I never took the name with the face. You know, and I'll always remember the conversation of how much he came up and he was trying to give you the best advice of, you know, of what you got to do. And it's still, that stuff still reigns today, man. And yeah, Jim Tretow is an icon. Someday he should be in the Wisconsin Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame. I mean, I rank him up that high. It'd be an insult if he didn't get that. Yeah, what a great guy, man, and sure to appreciate him and love running into him, man. We see him down at Slinger, we see him at Madison, we see him up at Kokone before the show and everything like this. Just a classic guy, and he's got great people surrounding him also. And we do need to get down to Paulie's down there. We did it one time. We sure did enjoy it. And yeah, we should do it again and go get on down there and support them.
Yeah, I need to find a babysitter on a Tuesday night and leave work from early and get down there for another show. I should make that a yearly thing where, hey, guess what? I'm going to take time and go support that. And this is another thing I'll share about Jim and, you know, the people around the Racing Roundup Show is they view it very similar to we do. And it's a very natural connection, as it's not when you go to these racetracks and you go to these events that it's competition. It's like, hey, these are guys that like racing just as much as we do, guys and girls, and we're all pulling the rope in the same direction, and we want to help them and help support them too, because we're all important in this. Sometimes you don't get that. We're very fortunate with a lot of people up in Wisconsin that it is that way, but it's not always that way, and it is with them and Jim. And I think that's crucial to where the sport is going. We all need to be, you and I say it all the time, we need to pull the rope in the same direction. And that's just another example of how special Jim and all the people with the Racing Roundup Show are. Greg and all of them.
You're right. It's not a competition thing, man. Hey, we want to put fannies in the seats, man. How many times have you brought a fan out or, a person come out to the racetrack and then they experience it and you go, oh my God, and then they see the racing and say, hey, come on down to the pits, man. You want to really, really get up close, and I've seen some people that's tagged along with me that's never experienced it before. And they just like, holy cow, is this good? All they got to do is just be exposed to it. And that's how you build the sport, man. Put fannies in the seat, man, and keep it going.
Yeah, and I remember talking to Jim just a little bit ago about you and I and how we kind of met in 2008, and it started with fantasy football, and then you and I would end up meeting in the pits inevitably, and approaching people. I said, yeah, you just can't be. You can't be scared to approach people, because you would kind of stand outside and then kind of wiggle way in and eventually maybe meet the person. Like, come on, you gotta meet this guy and all that. And I'm so glad he brought that up, because it was a great example with you and I. And I feel like other people have since realized that. And when you go in the pits, and this is a point not about you and I and anyone else, but when people go into the pits, it just seems like they are so outgoing and easily approachable, and it's really cool to see. I don't know, that's what made me think of how I'm happy how many people are approachable down in the pits.
And the thing is that I was hooked up with Guy Bodie, and he had so many connections that was along with that. And so I'd hang out with Guy and go down to the pits. And back then I was, I didn't know a lot of people, a lot of racers. I knew who they were, but I've always been, man, if you want to learn something, just keep your ears open and, and just listen and learn. And back in the day, yeah, you probably consider that I was rather shy, that I would just I didn't know these people and I didn't know how to approach them. And it takes time, but yeah, and just think, man, that's over 20 years ago, man, been running around in the pits and everything, been enjoying every minute of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I may have even grabbed you by the shoulder. I said, come with me. You're coming with me. We're going to meet these guys.
Yeah.
So
it
was good memories of that, and it made me happy about people going down in the pits and how I think things have gotten better with people being approachable. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is, it makes me happy to think about those moments.
But when Jim set us up for the media center down in Milwaukee, that was just like, how is this happening? You look over and every TV station camera was there for the announcement from Milwaukee, and Ty Majeski was there, and we were amongst all of that, and then afterwards we got to talk to the executives and the people who run this stuff, man, just jaw dropping, like, how did this happen? And hey, it was really Jim that actually set us up for that, and just forever thankful, man.
100%. That was Jim, and I'll end with this about that. It'll be long-winded, but Jim sent me an email, and I didn't know how he got me. I did have on the page, I have the email set up that you can contact, and I think I ended up finding him, and I said, is this legitimate? Because I didn't believe that he was inviting us to the press conference. I don't know if I ever told you this. I got the email at work, and I saw it come through, and I was like, man, this seems, how would he have my information? Why would he reach out to us? Like, we're just, little guy on the totem pole trying to make it, just pulling the rope and all that. And I reached out to him. He said, yeah, it's legit. And so then we got in there, and yeah, you're talking Ty Majeski was there, the executives with Sprecher. We ended up getting a tour of Sprecher, meeting some really great people. The daughter of the founder of it, who was crucial in that, and all the marketing people and executives there. Chip Weil. He was with Daytona and NASCAR. We just talked about him a week or two ago, moving into his new role. He's been an executive with NASCAR. We got to meet him. Bob Sargent, Buddy Judy with Clean Harbors and that program. So many great people that we got to meet. And while I'm thinking about that, I have to thank them for being so great with us too. And doing the research on our end and having some great questions, and for them to graciously meet with us and all of that. That was one heck of an experience. And when you think back on that, I don't mean to be more long-winded, but when you think back on that moment, it's just such a happy moment, just such a remarkable moment that I know you and I have said for years that we have gone places and been in pits and been media members at these local tracks that we never thought of. But when you think you're at the Milwaukee Mile, at the press conference for NASCAR coming back with the trucks, and you get to meet these people, there is no way that I would have ever thought that would ever be possible. And to be media members at all these tracks are so important, and I'm so thankful for too. But man, there is some. We look back and there's some really cool moments, and that moment definitely was brought on by Jim, and one reason why I'll be thankful for him.
Absolutely, man. So hey, and we're going to keep it going. We're going to, and we're going to see Jim some more, and he travels a lot more than what I do, for sure. I mean, he's really out there, and I looked him up, and he's I think he's like 6 years younger than I am. So and the fire is still burning. Same here. And just keep it going, and he'll probably do just like I will. If you got to drag me to the racetrack in a wheelchair, so be it. That's just the way it is. And we'll just go as long as you possibly can. So good luck to Jim and all that, and appreciate all of that stuff, man.
Yeah, for sure. Another funny thing is I had him on here. One reason was talk about the Rolex 24 and his experience, and we really didn't get to talk about it. So that's okay. We'll talk about it now. I'll say the winners, and then we'll give our thoughts on the race here. So the GTP, the prototype division, and overall winner was Porsche Penske in the number 7 car. Felipe Nasr was part of that. He has now won 3 consecutive Rolex 24s. Julian Andlauer and Lauren Heinrich also a part of that program there. Just an incredible race by those guys. In LMP2, the number 04 Crowd Psych Racing by APR, which consists of Alex Quinn, George Kurtz, Malte Jacobson, and Toby Sowery, won that one. GTD Pro, the number 1 of Paul Miller Racing in a BMW. Part of that was Neil Verhagen, Connor DeFilippi, Max Hesse, and Dan Harper. And then GTD, the number 57 Windward Racing Mercedes car one, Lucas Sauer, Indy Donche, Philip Ellis, and Russell Ward won that one. And in this class, there was a close call with Ellis and Nicky Team of Magnus Racing at the end there. That was the closest race coming to the end. And it got close where Nicky Team ended up putting a nose in there into turn 1 and thought better of it. And that might have been the last shot for them. But what a great event. Unfortunately, there was a period, maybe thankfully it was at night for broadcasting reasons, but unfortunately there was, 6 hours, 6.25 hour yellow flag for fog, where drivers were having a hard time staying awake. They were bored. Some of them, I remember Will Power, he was in his first Rolex 24, and he said he was in it for 2.5 to 3 hours, and he's never been more bored in his life, basically, he was saying. Can you imagine going around Daytona at like 70 miles per hour under caution for 3 hours? That's unfortunate, but still a great event, great accomplishment by everyone involved. I just love the 24 hours down there.
We turned it on right away, man. Race started, and they didn't even make it to the first corner, and all of a sudden, I don't know if it was cold tires or brakes weren't set right or whatever. And then 2 laps later, another car come flying in there, and he took the tire barrier down and it sheared the right front tire off the vehicle, and just like, holy smokes, what kind of race is this? Did you see the fans, though, man? The stands were packed. And unbelievable. We've never seen that before. And hey, it's the first time ever that I went and ordered Peacock. I say, you know what? I want to get up in the morning and have breakfast, and I want to watch the race. Last year I shied away from it. This year I did that. I lasted to about quarter. Well, we went out for my steak dinner. Thank you for the swell evening up there at the Black Otter there, dude. And came back here, and came home with a full tummy, and I lasted about 11:15. I said, that's as far as I can go. Got up in the morning right away, and all of a sudden at the 5 o'clock update, they said, well, we've been cautioned here for five hours. Like, huh? Like what? Really? Yeah. And the questions were like, why didn't they shut them down, or why did they keep them under caution? But apparently the cars are so sensitive that they wanted to keep them going. And so finally, I think it was 6:15 our time, all of a sudden then the fog lifted, and then we got to watch the rest of the race the rest of the day, and turned out to be an awesome event. And so we're going to go next year, huh?
We should.
Huh? You want to go next year?
We should.
We keep talking about it, man.
I know.
I don't know if there's that fog. We know how that fog is. We dealt with that fog in Pensacola when we were over there a couple years ago, and that Florida fog can be pretty stubborn. But all in all, it all worked out, man.
What's the chances that happens 2 years in a row? Although you could say that, and maybe it's a monsoon next year. We've seen that happen too. So, yeah, we should definitely go to that. I know we've talked about it for years. Next year could be the year, but next year is also planning on Indy 500. Can we really do the Rolex 24 and the Indy 500 all in 1 year?
You only got one life to go around, dude. So where have you heard that before?
Right here.
That's how I ended up going to the Badger Duke game down in Indianapolis. He says, hey, we only got one life to live, man, and you only got one chance. And that was your line that actually got me to go to the national championship down in Indianapolis.
I have to laugh at that because I was like, it's once in a lifetime, could be once in a lifetime. And now my wife's family gives me so much crap because every race, it might be one. Snowball Derby was once in a lifetime, and now I've been down there twice and hoping to get down there more. But yeah, once in a lifetime.
Yep.
Those could be legit once in a lifetime events, though.
The Icebreaker coming up this next April, man. It's once in a lifetime, man. Gotta be there.
Those events are once in a lifetime every year.
I use that line, man, but I bought that. You sold it and I bought it. So that's how that worked. Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about some news that came out here. There's some news that came out in the ARCA Menard series. Haley Deegan is coming back to stock cars. She's going to run the ARCA West series full time for Bill McAnally Racing.
Yeah, that's the old 16 car. Derek Krause ran that with that team way back for a few years ago. So they absolutely think that she should be able to compete for the championship out there. And that's probably a good thing for her to get her feet planted back down. And, she bounced all over the place from Indy next series, and she's been everywhere. So it's good to see that she's going to get back in the stock car. And I think that's a good place for her out there.
Yeah. Also, Leland Honeyman will compete in the ARCA Menard Series select events, though, with Nitro Motorsports in 2026. Nitro was the old Venturini Motorsports.
Yeah, Venturini got out of it. So, yep, okay, good news there.
Moving on to IndyCar, a judge in England has awarded McLaren $12.2 to $12.7 million in damages in the Alex Palou case. Ganassi is covering Palou's costs and damages. Palou said he is considering his legal options and appeals and looks forward to the season at Ganassi. McLaren says it will also look at recouping legal fees. I know we try not to bring legal stuff into it as much as we can. I felt like this was important, though, to remind people the reason this is going on is Alex Palou announced that he was going to McLaren from Ganassi and breaking his Ganassi contract. So Ganassi sued Palou. Then that came together, and Alex Palou has decided to stay at Ganassi. So now McLaren was suing Ganassi and Palou. So this thing still isn't over, but it's close to coming to an end. And honestly, it's probably better for both parties. Palou and Ganassi have now won 4 titles. McLaren probably is sour about that because Palou is obviously a wonderful talent, to say the least. So, but we've talked about this one before, and that's where it stands, and we'll see what happens here in the near future with it.
All right, we know how that legal stuff goes, so it'll all come out in the wash, man. But I don't sit on pins and needles waiting to see what stories like that is. So it'll work itself out. Let the lawyers fight it out.
RLL hires Ryan Briscoe as driver coach and Mike Pawlowski as race engineer. I think those are both very good hires there for RLL.
Yeah, there's some experience with Briscoe there for sure.
Mhm. Moving on to the truck series, Tony Breitinger will do 8 truck races for Rackley War in the number 27 truck. The first race will be Daytona. Also, we'll do Texas, Dover, Nashville, North Wilkesboro, IRP, New Hampshire, and Talladega.
Unfortunately, it's down to 8, and boy, she's going to have to perform, man. So we'll see. Let's see if she can step it up on that 8-race schedule there.
Mm-hmm. She moves over from Tricon, where she was full-time last year.
Mm-hmm.
Nice changed their number 41 truck to the number 4 now, so a number change for Nice Motorsports.
Just take the 1 off the back end and you got it all made.
Yeah. Corey LaJoy will drive the number 75 truck with support from Built.com, Alliance Driveway Solutions, and Kingdom Truck Sales for Henderson Motorsports here at Daytona.
Okay, there's some experience there, man. Corey LaJoy, he'll grab anything to drive these days, man.
Yes, he will. John Hunter Nemechek, who's won 13 times in the Truck Series over the years, is going to return to the Truck Series for the Daytona International Speedway race on Friday, February 13th. He'll drive the number 62 Toyota Tundra for Helmar Friesen Racing, and it'll mark his 150th career start.
Yeah, he does really well in the undercard series, Boy, I tell you what, with Legacy, I'm expecting to see some good things. There was a little bit with consistency, man. They figure that out, man. That's going to be a stout team this year.
Yeah. O'Reilly news here. Luke Fenhouse, who we're hoping to have on next week, will make his O'Reilly debut at Daytona driving the Henninger Racing number 5 car. So that is a very exciting news for Luke Fenhouse. I'm super pumped for him.
And that's actually a decent team, man. It wasn't that Anthony Alfredo ran that vehicle? Was it? No?
No, this is the new Henninger racing car. They came into the sport brand new. They've raced late models and all that. So they're brand new to the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. Ford kind of had a big helping in getting them from late models up to the O'Reilly series here.
Awesome, man. Thanks, man. I'm learning all the time, man. You're a good teacher.
The number 5 that you're thinking about was with our Motorsports, who they unfortunately folded halfway or just past halfway last year of the season. So this is brand new.
All right, good.
I know you've talked about this off air. Hardee's is becoming an official partner of NASCAR in the quick service restaurant category and will be a sponsor for 2311 Racing and Bubba Wallace. Wallace will have Hardee's as primary for several races. Unfortunately, that also means that McDonald's has kind of left the sport for now.
For now, they did this once before. McDonald's kind of bowed out a little bit, and then they came back, probably just doing a regroup. So, hey, man, here in Neenah, Hardee's is right across from McDonald's, so I'll just go over to Hardee's since they support racing now.
There you go. The Horatio Alger Association of Distinguished Americans, a nonprofit that honors leaders who have overcome adversity and supports young people in furthering their education, announced that Richard Childress, chairman and CEO of Richard Childress Racing, will receive the prestigious Horatio Alger Award and become a lifetime member of the organization. Childress joins 10 other exceptional corporate, civic, and cultural leaders from across the country in the 2026 class of honorees. For the last 79 years, the Horatio Alger Award has recognized esteemed individuals who have reached remarkable success despite significant challenges and who demonstrate a strong commitment to higher education and philanthropy. That's an excerpt from the announcement there. So pretty high award there for Richard Childress.
Awesome, man. They're promoting knowledge, man, and that stuff is priceless.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Chandler Smith will attempt to qualify for the Daytona 500 in a 4th front row car. It'll be the number 36. That makes 8 drivers vying for 4 spots with Alfredo, Allgaier, Heim, LaJoy, McLeod, Mears, Smith, and Yaley. And yes, Corey Heim has also been officially announced to drive or attempt the Daytona 500 with 2311.
Well, there's 4 openings, man. They're going to try to fight to get in, so that's going to make it exciting for the Twin 150s.
This has not been 100% confirmed, but this is the way it's heading, so I'm going to say something about it. the Charlotte NASCAR playoff race is most likely going to return to the oval. A lot of reports have come out as it's moving. From my understanding and what I'm hearing from others in the sport that know is it's not 100% done yet, but it is looking like it's pretty close to done and gonna happen.
So that's going to give 10 oval races if this happens. There's going to be no road course. Watkins Glen was pushed way back, and they actually ended up in the championship round, and then they moved it to Mother's Day this year. And so there's not going to be a road course, but there is some interesting 10 tracks there for the championship round. And we'll go from there, man. It'll be exciting.
Charlotte, over the last few years, especially with this new car, has performed a lot better on the ovals than the road course, so that was part of it. I am surprised at the timing of it. Surprising that we're this far down and they're thinking of a change. That's very unheard of. And Marcus Smith really came up with that idea for the Roval, and it's done well. So I'm surprised that he would come off of that as well, because that was kind of like his baby and his creation. So I'm surprised by those two things. If there is a downfall to it, that you just mentioned it, and I talked to this about you, is there's no road course in the chase now. So that's the one unfortunate thing about it.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's really weird that they waited this long to make this announcement. Just like, for real? And I saw it right away on JSkin, and there was no information that was out there till probably later in the day, and then finally everybody jumped on and made the announcement about this. So a lot of people say that road course was a novelty. It put out good stuff, though. I mean, the Charlotte Roval race actually got the first. That was the first step before we started doing other things. There was some memorable, good stuff there from the Roval. I understand this is only going to be for 2 years, and then they're going to reevaluate, and maybe the Roval will come back someday. We'll see. But I am probably 99% sure that they will be on the oval this year.
Yeah, it sounds that way. All 4 RFK racing cars will sport the iconic look for the Great American Race, with tribute decal to Greg Biffle. Every RFK Racing will run a tribute decal to Greg on the name rail also for the full season. Colleague Racing will also pay tribute to Greg Biffle with his iconic numeric font on AJ Allmendinger's number 16 car in the 500. And NASCAR will also pay tribute at the Clash. A large-scale painted stencil of RFK Racing's commemorative memorial decal will be painted on Bowman Gray Stadium's infield grass. The display will serve as a unified symbol of remembrance, reflecting Biffle's lasting impact on the sport. And that is a quote from them there at RFK. So, yeah, NASCAR.
Yeah,
so I think that's really cool.
And then last week, we were up at the Black Otter, and we went to table number 16, and we toasted and we're trying to be like the Biff, and right away when you think 16, man, you think of Greg Biffle and his family, and just that unfortunate, sad story there.
There's some weird things that happen in life, weird occurrences, especially after you lose someone. You and I have both been through that more than most, unfortunately. And some have it worse than us too. I don't want to make it seem that way, but there's some weird things that happen. And Cletus McFarland, I think it was like the day or two after, he had some kind of Christmas event, and they picked, I think there was like 32 or 33 people there, and they always pick a number out of a hat, and he got number 16. Like, what's the chances of that? And then, we go out to celebrate our season, and for me to, pay tribute to your picking, which mine was dismal, and you get table 16 and you're just like, really? Like, that's unfathomable.
I mean, how could you not think about it, right?
Right.
So as soon as you saw that, also, we're at table 16. Also, hello, what's the first thing you're going to think of? So yeah, it's there.
And then the last piece of news I got here, buddy, is NASCAR Studios and Fox Sports announced we've lost Dale Earnhardt 25 years later. A powerful new original documentary marking the 25th anniversary of the 2001 Daytona 500, the race that forever changed NASCAR and American motorsports, which will premiere Thursday, February 12th at 10 p.m. Eastern, so 9 p.m. Central our time, following the NASCAR Cup Series American 250 duels on FS1. The film is told through exclusive first-person accounts, rare home video, archival broadcast footage, and cinematic storytelling, revisiting the death of seven-time NASCAR champion Dale Earnhardt and examining the profound ripple effects that continue to shape the sport and its culture 25 years later. I'm happy. I'm excited to watch this. I know that there have been some people that have said, we've watched everything that there could be about Dale Earnhardt now. What new could be brought about? And what I would say to that is that this is going to focus more on what happened after his passing, more than his career leading up to it and all of that. I feel like everything we've seen, not everything, because I think Michael Waltrip's a little bit of after and his feelings and other people's feelings on it and a little bit of that. But I don't know that there's really been anything that's focused on the after as close as this will. So I think there's going to be a side of it that people are going to be surprised when they watch it, even if they're not expecting it. So I think there's going to be a side of it that people aren't expecting and that they're going to enjoy it. At least I hope so. This is kind of and I've seen some people say this too, this is almost like a continuation after that Prime series. Like everything led up to his passing. Now this is what happened after and the ripple effect. So I hope people are thinking more about that and that there is going to be new stuff in there and it's going to focus on something else. I understand what people are saying, I guess. I'm a Dale Earnhardt fan, so I'll watch anything Dale Earnhardt. I'll watch anything racing, but, especially Dale Earnhardt. But I hope people think about it as in a fact of you're going to see and hear some things that maybe you haven't seen and thought about before and how they're going to do it with the ripple effects.
Shows just how huge Dale Earnhardt was to the sport. I mean, 25 years later, man, he's still relevant. They say his sales are still up there, better than some of the current drivers. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's no reason why after the races, the 150s are done. Just keep it on FS1, man, and we'll just follow right through. And I'll be interested to watch that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for me. Every year around this time, I'll watch a lot of Dale Earnhardt stuff. I'll watch a lot of racing stuff leading up to the Daytona 500. I was just watching the 2002 Daytona 500 last night. You and I just on the phone, I was like, hey, let's think about the Daytona 500 winners. And you and I did pretty good. I think we got back to 1979, 1980, all the way to 2000. We would have made it all the way to 2025. I had one small mistake in there, but it was fun to just talk about. So I usually watch like the day or something. It sounds kind of morbid, I guess, just the day surrounding it before it happened and then the unfortunate event. But certainly an icon. His legacy, even though he didn't intend it to be, his safety. I mean, we haven't lost anyone since, thankfully. Don't want to. We've seen some scary things happen on the track.
Luckily, I think a little bit of that. There's been some really incidents where there's some of that safety equipment wasn't there, man. I don't know how some of them people would have walked away from some of that. So, yeah. So, you got to actually tip your hat towards what happened there, that it actually has saved other lives, man.
Yeah. So I think it will show people something that they don't expect. So I'm hoping people really tune into that and pay attention to it. I know I will be. I know you will be. But yeah, so should be interesting to watch there. Other than that, that's all I got. Any news that you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. We got everything covered, man. I'm looking forward to this weekend and this cold and the snow, and North Carolina is going to they're gonna get a snowstorm down there in Bowman Gray. It looks like I'm understanding it might be a scratch is the way the last words that I have. They haven't pulled the plug on it yet, but they're about to.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I've heard a lot of rumblings. Are they going to move it back to Daytona temporarily? There's a rumor floating around right now. I don't know how true this is, that they're talking about maybe moving the Clash to the backstretch small track of Daytona. I don't know how true that is. Someone might have put something out there. Eric Jones was on Channel 90 the other day, and he was saying, everyone want to move away from Daytona because of the wrecks and costing so much money. But he said, we're wrecking just as much stuff at the Coliseum and at Bowman Gray, so does it really matter? He says it's something special to lock yourself into the Clash with the pole winners and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the weather is not as bad as they think it is, and people aren't affected as greatly as we think might happen, but we'll see. Just keep your eye on the updates here. We'll try to update you as fast as we can too. But leading into that, here's the schedule for Bowman Gray, as long as nothing gets changed. This will be Central Time. Saturday, 9:15 is modified practice. 9:45 is sportsman practice. 10:15 is modified qualifying. They must have a typo here because it says 10:14 is sportsman qualifying. I'm going to guess that will be 11:14. 12:15 on flow is the sportsman race. It'll be a 125 laps. 1:45 on flow is the modified race, 100 laps. 5:10 on FS1 is cup practice, and 7:30 on FS1 is the cup heats. Those are 25 laps. Sunday on Fox at 5 o'clock, the last chance qualifier. That'll be 75 laps. And at 7 o'clock on Fox, the Clash will get going 200 laps. As of right now, or as of this morning, they're thinking the temps will be in the 20s. Teens at night with 60% chance of snow on Saturday. So again, we will see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, that's going on. And then, all the speed weeks and the dirt racing and all that all kicks off next week down in Florida too. And hey, this cold is even going to get down that direction too, man. So good luck to everybody trying to get through this crazy weather, man. Looks like we're actually going to get back to normal. I mean, 20 degrees, man. We're going to be running around with the short sleeve shirts on. It's just like, wow, this is a heat wave.
It's like a 50-degree difference. You're talking negative 40, negative 35 to 20.
I mean, if it's going to be cold like this, we could get some snow, but it's just plain, just downright cold. I've never seen it where it's done this, where it's going all the way to Cuba and the Bahamas. And I mean, it was only in the 40s out in Phoenix and everything. I mean, this is just everybody. So we're sharing our cold with everybody. And right now there ain't no more cold air up north, man. So get the sun kicked up and let's get going. So get warmed up and everybody can go racing, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, that's all we got here. Again, hopefully this weekend kicks off. Also, you're right, the World Series of Asphalt racing, which we talked about, the ASA STARS National Tour is a part of that. That'll be Tuesday night, but a ton of racing starting this weekend, going through all the way to the Saturday of Daytona 500. So that'll be next week and next weekend. So just great stuff happening coming up here. We're thoroughly starting racing season here, which is great. Thank you to Tim, Ben, and Carrie for all that you do for us and everyone. We appreciate it. Thank you to Jim Tretow for joining us. Just an amazing guest, amazing person. Mark, thank you to you as always as well. Appreciate you, buddy. And thank you to everyone for your support. It means the world to us, and we just enjoy this, so we appreciate it. Appreciate the support and everything. So, and I say the kind words and the things we can improve on, because we're always looking to improve too. So appreciate everyone, and hey, we'll talk to you soon.
We'll see you soon, man.
See ya.
This has been a production of Lore Sports. Hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.